Well, good afternoon. I'm Marlon Cole, Executive Director of Evolve502, and I welcome those of you here that are with us in person and those of you that have joined us virtually today. This is an exciting day, and we're so grateful to have all of you with us today. We're excited to share more about the work and mission of Evolve and how we are supporting the recovery and healing efforts for our community. I'll say when we originally planned this day, we saw it quite differently. That we would maybe be at a high school on a stage with students full of hope and excitement. But as COVID has impacted all of our lives, it also impacted our plans. But we're moving forward, and also just want to think about those that it's really impacted, those that are most vulnerable in our community. And that is why we can't let COVID or anything else stop us from moving forward with this important work. And so we're grateful that you are here with us today and that we can talk more about how we are impacting those that are in most need and needing us now more than ever. Who is Evolve502? We are a public-private partnership working to ensure that every child in Louisville is prepared for college, career, and a productive, successful life. Our mission statement boldly states that we will provide the caring, belief, access, and supports each student needs to be successful and to remove and mitigate the systemic barriers of poverty and institutional racism. This is no easy lift, but with the support of this entire community, we know that we are up to the challenge. Our work centers around three strategies: systems, scholarships, and supports. We take a systems view using data, best practices, and the realignment of resources in our community to identify and address the gaps along the pathway to student achievement. Scholarships. We are raising the funds so that every eligible JCPS graduate can get a tuition-free 2-year college degree or workforce training, and we're going to talk much more about that in just a minute. Supports. We are convening and organizing partner agencies and organizations to better connect youth to services and resources to ensure that every child has the tools and guidance needed from cradle to career. Evolve502's name reflects the evolution over more than a decade of several efforts to increase the number of college-educated adults in our community. The Greater Louisville Project's 2008 report that identified leakage in our community's educational pipeline provided us a great wake-up call and set in motion a number of efforts to grow the educational attainment of our citizens. The great work of 55,000 Degrees and that of the Mayor's Cradle to Career framework identified the need to close equity gaps and increase college affordability as critical to reaching our goal. Evolve502 is leading the next phase of this work to create a more educated, trained workforce. And more than 25 organizations representing education, local government, the business, philanthropic, and social service community made the decision to come together as partners to share best practices and resources to better meet the needs of youth and families, and really gave birth to our efforts. We have shared a graphic in our media packet highlighting these partners, as well as our boards of directors. I want to take a moment to recognize and publicly thank our board chairs that are with us in person today. Mary Nixon, who is chair of our Scholars Foundation Board, and Odwin Helton, who is chair of our Evolve502 board. Their tremendous leadership, passion, and support over these past few years have been just tremendous, and we thank them so very much. I have to say, they never realized that retirement could be so much fun. We know that Louisville's post-secondary attainment lags behind its peer cities, and we are lagging behind at a time when demand for an educated workforce is growing. Jobs requiring post-secondary education are projected to grow at a much faster rate than those for students with a high school degree. 62% of future Kentucky jobs are expected to require a college degree or training. And we know that 95% of jobs created after the Great Recession required some level of college education, a good indicator of what is to come after this recession. And while the need for an educated workforce is growing, the college-going rate of our JCPS graduates is declining. And we know that cost and perceived cost is the #1 barrier for students pursuing and continuing their education. So in the absence of a marching band and cheerleaders with us today, I want you all to do a series of mental drum rolls with me as we make several announcements. We are proud to announce today that we have raised the funds to offer a promised scholarship to our first class of JCPS scholars, the class of 2021. This means that those students that will be seniors beginning this school year can receive a 2-year tuition-free associate degree, technical credential, or other certification from any Kentucky community and technical college like Jefferson or Simmons College of Kentucky, our city's HBCU. And our lowest income students with a family income of $40,000 or less will be eligible for an opportunity grant of $1,000 per semester to help with those other costs of attending college, like housing, transportation, food, books, etc. Like other programs across the country, we are a last dollar scholarship program, which means we cover the gap between tuition and fees and financial aid, ensuring no Evolve502 scholar pays tuition. The universal design of our program and the message of free tuition is intended to reach our most vulnerable students, our low-income, historically marginalized, first-generation college attenders, our Black and brown students who are often left out and left behind. Mental drum roll #2. The Rotary Club of Louisville, along with UPS, Metropolitan College Program, and others, have laid a great foundation for our work moving forward. Rotary has been a trailblazer in this space, providing critical scholarship support, mentoring, and coaching for students at both Iroquois High School and Western High School. And we actually have a Western High School student with us today. We are pleased to share that the Rotary Club of Louisville Scholarship Program is coming under the umbrella of the Evolve502 organization and will continue to offer financial support for the now Rotary Evolve502 scholars that graduate from Iroquois and Western. Thank you. We thank Rotary for their leadership in this space and want to recognize Henry Heiser, the founder and creator of the Rotary Scholarship, who's with us today, as well as Julie Schmidt, who is the current Rotary Club of Louisville president. Thank you all so very much for being with us. And I also want to recognize, because I'm not sure he'll be able to stay with us all today, that Henry Heiser is also one of our lead donors, came in very early in this effort with us. And Mary Gwynn's going to talk more about that in her comments, but we wanted to thank you again for your confidence in us and your jumping in with us very early on in this process. Thank you so very much. And mental drum roll #3. Dr. Neely Bendapudi, president of the University of Louisville, couldn't be with us this afternoon, but prepared a video message to make another exciting announcement related to our scholarship program.
Greetings, everybody, and thank you so much for inviting the University of Louisville to be part of this exciting day. I truly believe that college education, higher education, has the power to transform lives, not just for individuals, but for their families and their communities. There's no doubt you've already heard about the financial impact of a college education, but there is so much research that proves beyond doubt that a college education leads to people leading healthier, happier, longer lives, and of their playing leadership roles in their places of work and play and worship. So today, I'm so overjoyed to announce that in addition to the exciting opportunity from Evolve502 that you heard from Marlon Cole, the University of Louisville has also pledged to work with Evolve 502. We've signed a memorandum of understanding that promises the following. Any student, Pell eligible, who successfully completes their 2-year degree at Jefferson or Simmons or any other KCTS system can come to the University of Louisville. And if they're Pell eligible, in good standing, a full-time student, they can come and finish out their college degree with zero college debt. You see, at the University of Louisville, we have made a commitment to being anti-racist, and this is part of that commitment. No young person's future should be dictated by their zip code. So, for everybody listening in, especially young people, please take advantage of this opportunity. Once again, if you go to JCTC or to Simmons or any other system in Kentucky, the 2-year college system, and you're in good standing, Pell eligible, when you come to the University of Louisville, we are promising that we will make sure you are able to graduate without any college debt. This is a spectacular day for the city and for the Commonwealth and the country. Let's go. So today, go JCPS, go Evolve 502, go Jefferson and Simmons and every other institution in our Kentucky Community and Technical College system. And of course, you know me, go Cards.
This 2+2 partnership, as we call it, is a game changer for our youth. An affordable pathway to a 4-year degree for our lowest income students. Dr. Beth Bain, Provost at University of Louisville, and Evolve 502 board member, is with us this afternoon. She and her team, along with my colleague, Dr. Matt Berry, and many others in this room, really did the heavy lifting to make this possible and make this a reality for our students. So I want to thank you so very much and to say that I am a very proud U of L alum today. Thank you. And now it's time to hear from others about the importance of this scholarship. As we mentioned earlier, Evolve 502, along with its many partners, are locking arms with JCPS to find better ways to connect with and support students who need us the most. I welcome Dr. Marty Polio to the podium to talk about what a scholarship announcement means for JCPS students. Dr. Polio.
Thank you, Marlon. So excited to be here, and I myself am a U of L alum as well, so it's an exciting day for JCPS and our local institutions. I can't tell you, especially in this day and age right now, the crisis we are going through, the inspiration I have felt by the number of community organizations and individuals who have stepped up to support our kids. And I think this is very symbolic of that support that our kids are receiving right now in a community. And I think that is the sign of a great community and a great city of education is not just the school district. The school district has to step up and do their part, but everyone in the community steps up, wraps their arms around all of our nearly 100,000 kids and says we're going to do anything we can to make them successful. And I want to go back. About 4 years ago, I was the principal at Doss High School, and we were taking trips to Nashville Public Schools to visit their Academies of Nashville program, which we have now instituted, about to go into the 4th year, one of the most successful things that we have in JCPS, the Academies of Louisville. But I remember talking to 2 students, 2 seniors at a high school in Nashville, and I asked what they were doing next year. And one of them said, I'm going out of state. I'm not taking advantage of the Tennessee Promise, but my friend is. And I said, well, what's the Tennessee Promise? And they said, we get to go to college for free. And I could see on their face how much relief that was for this young man that he did not have to do that. And I thought, wow, what an incredible program. I wish we had that in Jefferson County. Did not know it would happen. Lo and behold, about 7 or 8 months later, I became the acting superintendent, and I was invited to a meeting that at that time was called Louisville Promise. And at that time, we really didn't have the leadership. It was just a group of people that had decided they wanted to make this a reality. And so here we are 4 years later. 3 years later, I guess, but at a point where we are announcing this, and this is what we have all dreamed of. And it is far beyond my expectations. Over the past 2 years, I have given out a scholarship to students in need, and it has been an employee scholarship. And this year we gave out about $80,000. It's probably the best day of the year for me when I get to go to, last year it was their schools. This year we had to go to their house because of social distancing, and we were in NTI. But I can't tell you, first of all, how meaningful it is for a child, a student, to be handed a check to pay for college. And that's what this is. And the second thing I've learned through this process is how many of our young people across this country are accepted to a college. They've done the work to get there. They may have their first year paid for, but they have no idea how they're going to pay for the rest of it. And it is probably the leading cause for students who go to college, who start college, and don't complete the process. And unfortunately, that's a huge challenge in this community as well. And now, for the class of 2021, that is completely off the table. I can't underscore enough how important this is, that every single graduate from JCPS in the class of 2021 will have a 2-year scholarship to JCTC or Simmons or another technical school, and a 2+2 option to go to the University of Louisville to get their bachelor's degree. Plus that opportunity scholarship for those low-income students. This is a game changer for the class of 2021. And I can't say enough about how meaningful it is that everyone has stepped up. And so as I conclude, I want to thank a few people that have been so important in this process. First of all, I want to thank the University of Louisville, JCTC, and Simmons College of Kentucky. All three institutions are very supportive of JCPS. Neely Bendaputi, Ty Handy, Kevin Cosby are all mentors of mine and have really hopefully guided all of us together as we work together on this pathway, K through 16. We have great leadership at our post-secondary institutions in this community, and I'm so proud to be able to work with them. I want to thank Marlon Cole. She stepped into this, and she has been a great leader throughout this time to make this a reality. And understand, bringing large organizations together is no easy task. JCPS, large metro government, post-secondary institutions, you've done a fantastic job, Marlon, and I can't say enough. I want to thank a couple of friends here. Henry Heiser, thanks for your support. I don't know if there's anybody who supports JCPS more than you do, and you have meant so much on kids in this community. Audwin Helton, I don't think there's a committee in this city that has to do with education that Audwin Helton is not a part of. And I've known this even more during this time of COVID-19 because we are on at least 3 Zoom meetings every week together. And when he's not doing that, he's visiting schools and supporting kids. Also a mentor of mine. I can't tell you how much I appreciate what he's done. And finally, I would like to say thank you to David Jones Jr. and Mary Gwen Wheeler for their continued support of this. Especially Mary Gwen Wheeler, I can't say enough. I think this has been your vision for many, many years. And it's probably taken a little longer to get us to this room than we ever wanted, but here we are. And I know we wouldn't be up here right now celebrating this without your vision, your great thought, and your continued push to say we're going to do this, starting with 55,000 degrees and now into Evolve502. This is going to change the lives of children in this community, and I thank you for that and all of your team throughout the years. So thank you very much. This is so meaningful. I can't wait until the spring when we get back and we do some kind of official big celebration with kids. If you are in the class of 2021, you should be celebrating right now. This is a game changer for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Polio, and we appreciate your great leadership as well and your partnership. As mentioned earlier, Evolve502 scholars will have the opportunity to attend any of the Kentucky community and technical colleges as well as Simmons College. We are honored to be partnering with both Jefferson and Simmons and really applaud their efforts to support students in such a special way and to support the educational and workforce training needs of our city. Dr. Ty Handy, president of Jefferson, will bring his remarks, and he will be followed by a video from Dr. Kevin Cosby, president of Simmons. Dr. Handy.
Boy, it's wonderful to host you on campus today. This is a moment we've been waiting for a long time. I'm about to complete my 4th year here as president, and I think it was my 2nd day of work that Mary Gwen Wheeler and Tori Murden McClure invaded my office, set me down, and told me what I had to do. And what I had to do was help increase the graduation rate at Jefferson Community and Technical College, because this community needed more college graduates to fill the jobs that were available. And I was on the job for 2 days, and I was a little bewildered on the way home that night, thinking, what am I going to do? Well, it's 4 years later. We've tripled the graduation rate of our underrepresented minority students, and we've doubled the overall graduation rate of our overall student body. Now, we're about 13,000 students strong, and people don't realize that. And about half of the students who come to us when they arrived, it's actually 49%, say they intend to pursue a baccalaureate degree. So having a great relationship with the University of Louisville and have them step up and make what is really a shocking promise, because their tuition rate is rather high. And so to be willing to cover that gap for JCPS students who are successful in their first 2 years of college is an extraordinary pledge. And I want to thank you sincerely for making that pledge, because that's the icing on the cake for what's being offered here to the class of 2021. Now, there's another piece to what's happening here, and so I'm going to step backwards a little bit, because I think one of Marty's dreams as superintendent of JCPS is to be able to tell kindergartners someday, that their college is paid for, so that they can spend their entire school life knowing that the financial barrier is not there for them. So this is a major step today, but there's more steps for us to take. And the other piece that I'm so pleased about Evolve502, which separates it from promised scholarships around the country, is the recognition that yes, the financial barrier is critical and we need to remove it, but there are so many other barriers, and we've got to start addressing those barriers at kindergarten, 1st grade, 3rd grade, 8th grade, and continue to address them once they're in college. So all these organizations in the community who have come together and are pledging resources, time, and effort, and agreeing to become much more efficient and effective in how they address the other needs of school children is critical for this program. And so I want to thank Marland, and I want to thank those who founded Evolve502, what was the Louisville Promise, for having the vision for both a scholarship and for efforts to remove those other barriers. This bodes well for the future of the Louisville economy, for the future of the neighborhoods in Louisville who are going to benefit from having college graduates living there, and for the students themselves. And the final thing I want to mention is this opportunity grant. It's an unusual opportunity for students to have something like this. What's oftentimes criticized about last dollar in scholarships is that the students who are most financially in need will get enough financial aid to pay their tuition. So there isn't often a lot of need to be met for those students. This opportunity grant recognizes that and says that students whose families earn less than $40,000 a year have needs above and beyond tuition, and they're going to make this pledge of $1,000 a semester for those students to help offset those costs. Jefferson is excited to be a partner with these organizations, with Simmons, with U of L, and with these great community leaders, because we know that we're a part of the solution for this community, and we're excited to have people who support us and support students and support the JCPS system so effectively. So thank you very much. I look forward to this program this next year for these seniors of 2021, and then hopefully continuing this into the future. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kevin Cosby, president of Simmons College of Kentucky. And to Marlon Cole and others who are part of this powerful initiative, Evolve502, what an honor it is to be a part of something that is transformative for our city. Simmons College of Kentucky is part of a community of colleges and universities known as HBCUs, or historically black colleges and universities. These are institutions who historically have served Black Americans prior to the integration of public and private schools in our nation. So to become an HBCU, or to be an HBCU, you had to be in existence prior to 1964. Simmons was birthed, the vision for it, 4 months after Lee surrendered to Grant at Appomattox Courthouse in April of 1865. 4 months later, the vision for Simmons College was established. In 1873, the state of Kentucky issued Simmons College a charter to function as a university and college in our nation. And in 1879, Simmons was born. Simmons, at one time, was one of the premier Black colleges in America, but suffered some downtime due to the Depression. The good news is Simmons is back, and we're one of the few HBCUs and private HBCUs in America. There are 35,000 cities in the United States of America. There are 101 HBCUs. There are 50 private HBCUs. So Simmons is one of those 50 private HBCUs. Of the 35,000 cities in our country, Louisville is blessed because there never will be another HBCU. Simmons College of Kentucky, as an HBCU, is committed to helping Black students excel academically. And HBCUs do a tremendous job in achieving that objective. HBCUs are 3% of the colleges in America. But listen to this. They graduate 23% of all baccalaureate Black students. 50% of all Black teachers and public school personnel are trained at historically Black colleges and universities. 75% of all Black doctors and dentists and judges attended HBCUs. If I mention some of the names of some of the great thought leaders and transformative agents in our society who were Black, more than likely they attended an HBCU. Oprah Winfrey, Thurgood Marshall, Jesse Jackson, and yes, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Simmons College of Kentucky is expanding its degree offerings. We have degrees with very competent teachers in business. We have degrees in sociology and communications. And now our education program is helping to train teachers for Jefferson County Public Schools. We are recruiting, training, developing Black teachers to help close the racial teacher gap that exists in JCPS. You know, because so many HBCUs provide teachers for America's school systems, it's wonderful that our superintendent does not have to go to another city to compete with other superintendents to recruit Black teachers. We can develop them right here at Simmons College of Kentucky. This would not be possible if it were not for those who envisioned Evolve 502. Those who envisioned this wonderful initiative are concerned about our city, concerned that everyone would have an opportunity to maximize their potential and self-actualize. And I want to thank Evolve 502 for reaching out to Simmons College of Kentucky, because in the words of the United Negro College Fund, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but it's a wonderful thing to invest in. Thank you, Evolve 502, for investing in Simmons College of Kentucky and West Louisville.
Louisville Metro government has been a major partner in the education space and really helped stand up the Evolve 502 organization. Mayor Greg Fisher has been a tireless supporter of lifelong learning in our community. He serves on the Evolve 502 board, and he and members of his team have championed our work locally and have connected us nationally to national efforts like the Harvard By All Means program that has provided great leadership, thought leadership, and support. Mayor Fisher will share his thoughts on how this scholarship opportunity will impact our city by video.
Hello, everybody. This is an incredibly important day for our city. as we make a tangible commitment to education and opportunity for young people throughout Louisville. The Evolve 502 Scholarship says to these young folks, we believe in you. We believe in your potential and in your future, and we are investing in you, your potential, and your future. This is how we move our city forward, how we develop our workforce to become even more competitive economically and even more attractive to businesses looking to relocate or expand. The Evolve 502 Scholarship puts us in a stronger position to create a more robust and equitable economy after COVID-19 than the economy we had before this crisis began. And this scholarship is a direct response to the cries for racial justice like those that we're hearing in our streets, because we know that the #1 disruptor of poverty is post-secondary education. And the Evolve 502 Scholarship puts that higher education within reach for more young people of color who've previously lacked access as a result of generations of systemic racism. I want to thank everyone who's put in literally years of work to make this possible. Our Evolve 502 team, 55,000 Degrees, and the coalition of business, education, and community organizations that helped us establish the Cradle to Career framework that paved the way for Evolve 502. Thanks to Ashley Parrott, Katie Dalinger, and the rest of my outstanding Metro government team for their incredible work. And thanks to the many organizations, foundations, and individual donors whose vision, compassion, and generosity made this possible. This is an incredible accomplishment for our city and an incredible opportunity for the class of 2021. Our job now is to continue this work and this commitment and establish the Evolve 502 Scholarship as a permanent fixture in the educational life and culture of our city, so parents from every neighborhood, background, and income will know from the day their baby is born in Louisville that their child will be able to get a college education or credential. Louisville, let's make that happen. Thank you.
And we thank Mayor Fisher for his continued support and efforts in helping move this effort forward. Mary Gwen Wheeler has been a tireless champion for education since her days as part of the Mayor Abramson's cabinet and as the director of 55,000 Degrees. Mary Gwen serves on the Evolve 502 Foundation Board and is chair of our campaign cabinet and giving great leadership. She will join us now to provide more information about our campaign and to thank some of our many donors that have provided leadership gifts. Mary Gwen.
Oh, what a momentous day for our community. I'm so excited to be here, building on years, as you've heard, of collective work, all the partners in this room, and many lessons learned. You know, it was 10 years ago that a powerful partnership made a commitment to increase post-secondary attainment in our community. And today, at 45, we have 45% of our working age population with a college degree. That's 7 points higher than when we began. And that means that 39,000 more adults have an associate's degree than when we started. So today, we are going to the next level. We're putting a stake in the ground to invest in breaking down the financial barriers that have prevented far too many from pursuing their dreams. Today, we say to our public school students, it doesn't matter what zip code you were born in. You will have a tuition-free post-secondary opportunity here in Louisville, Kentucky. Our intention, declared here today, is to fund this scholarship for 15 years through the class of 2034, thank you. That's today's kindergartners on. So kindergartners, I guess you're the class of 2034. This is an ambitious effort, and it's one which we estimate will require a $50 million fund being raised. We're starting in phases, with $10 million as our first goal, to fund everyone in high school that's in high school this academic year. So my job here is to first thank the donors and partners who have stepped forward to lead, because they know that a post-secondary education can create a tangible change in a person's life with ripples that extend for generations. So let me recognize the lead donors who are here today. And first, I want to thank and say I am proud to partner with my husband, David Jones Jr., in getting this fund off the ground. Thank you for your partnership, David. And as it's already been said, but let me thank him again in person, Henry Heiser, you have been a tireless leader in this community, a consistent leader on scholarships because you know the importance of this for people's lives. And Henry was the first to join David and me at the $1 million level. Thank you, Henry, for your belief in students. You've heard about Mary's tireless efforts. I cannot tell you, Mary Nixon, the number of hours, the phone calls, the meetings, the time that she has invested. You who know Mary know that once she decides to do something, you better watch out. So with her husband, Ted, they have matched that investment of time with a generous pledge. Thank you, Mary. And I need to say a special thanks to Mayor Fisher, Greg and his wife. Greg has been a partner in this work since day one. He stepped up to chair 55,000 Degrees, even though it was a previous mayor's initiative. He kept insisting that lifelong learning and economic success stay at the heart of our city's work. He and his team invested time and dollars to the operation and continual iterations of effort that bring us today to Evolve502. And we appreciate his and Alex's personal donation to the scholarship fund as well. And though they could not be here in person today, I am so very pleased to announce a joint family gift from Christy Brown, Owsley and Victoire Brown, Brooke and Matthew Barzin, and Augusta and Gil Holland of $1 million. This family contributes so much to strengthen the health and well-being of our community, and it's with sincere thanks that I thank them for helping to open more doors through education. And I want to also thank some of the donors who may be watching virtually. Actually, the first one I need to recognize is the Rajon Rondo Foundation, and Yvette Gentry, the executive director of that, is here today. Thank you to the Rajon Rondo Foundation. Other lead gifts from the LDG Foundation, from Tim and Brenda Huval. For early gifts from business, who help send the message that we need our corporate community, our corporate partners as well. So a thanks to GE Appliances and to Baird and Company. And a special thanks also to all 10 Metro Council members who set aside contributions from their neighborhood development funds in this past budget. And they are listed in the press release by name. And then thanks to the many others from the Scholars Foundation and community that, along with these lead gifts that I just mentioned, end up bringing our total to $4.3 million raised, enabling us to tell the class of 2021, we've got your backs. And I'm also thrilled to announce, as Marlon had said, the Rotary Club has agreed to partner with us. They're basically merging their Promise Scholarship with Evolve502, which represents a 15-year commitment valued at $1,125,000 to support students from Western and Iroquois high schools. Yes, I like hearing that applause. This is then the largest commitment to date. Thank you, Julie, and to Henry, who's now had to slip out, and to all of Rotary's donors and leaders. We are on the way. So to further help us reach that first phase goal, I am pleased to introduce to you Carol Jones, who will share an announcement from the CENS Foundation via video. Carol.
Hi, I'm Carol Jones. Like the rest of my family, I've been working in and around education my whole life. Currently, I'm a girls' high school sports coach and the president of the CENS Foundation. When leaders from across our community started work on a Promise Scholarship, the CE&S Foundation was at the table, because the belief that education opens paths to independence and prosperity is at the core of our work. Without my dad's 12 free years in Louisville's public schools, followed by 4 years at the University of Louisville in the Navy ROTC program, and an additional 3 years at the Yale Law School courtesy of the GI Bill, that poor kid from West Louisville would not have founded and built Humana. And without Humana, there would be no CE&S Foundation. To build beyond today's promise to the JCPS class of 2021, I'm excited to announce that the CE&S Foundation has issued a $2.5 million challenge grant to Evolve502. To secure the $2.5 million challenge grant, Evolve502 must raise $7.5 million from other donors by November 30th. Why is there a deadline and why is it so near? Simply put, we cannot wait for another year to pass without offering this opportunity to more of our JCPS graduates. The need is real, and the need is now, and our ability to meet it depends only on the willingness of our community to raise the funds to meet the challenge. As a college basketball player and a coach, I've seen over and over how much stronger a team is when all of its players have the chance to improve their individual skills. The entire team is stronger, it's more fit, it's more competitive. The players perform better and they have more fun. I believe the same thing applies here, and I want that for our students individually and for our community collectively. My dad used to say, when he was excited about an initiative in the community, "Wow, this is super. It's going to make such a big difference. I'd like to participate, and I'd like to invite our friends to join us." Community, these are our youth. This is our future. And this challenge grant is our invitation to join us in supporting Evolve502's promise to JCPS students that they will be able to afford post-secondary education. Let's go beyond the class of 2021. Let's meet the challenge by November 30th and launch this whole generation of students on the path to independence and prosperity. Thank you.
Well, thanks to Carol and the CE&S Foundation. In case the volume was not, for those of you in the room, the volume wasn't that strong, just want to be clear. So there is a challenge grant out there for $2.5 million once $7.5 is raised. That would get us to that $10 million goal I was talking about. And we have till the end of November to raise that. But you know, we gathered the best experts around the state and spent months developing a scholarship program designed around equity, access, and success. And we learned from other states and cities and captured the imagination of a lot of supporters that got us here to today's start. These students needed our support before the pandemic, and now they need us even more. This is not the time to shy away from big investment. This is the time to make those investments. We are so grateful to the CE&S Foundation for its commitment to our effort and its challenge inviting others to join in. And by my calculation, when you count in that rotary, we now need just a little over $2 million more to meet the target. This is about uplifting our community, and we need everyone: business, foundations, government, and individuals, from high net worth to grassroots contributors. If you want to give today, you can do so at the evolve502.org website, or contact information can be found there if you want to explore ways to partner with us. I'm thrilled to be here. This is a great day. Thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to Marlon to close us out.
Thank you, Mary Gwen, and thank you for your tireless efforts in this, as has been mentioned earlier. So appreciate you. I want to close the formal portion of our program today with a quote from President Truman's 1947 Commission on Higher Education report that was shared with me for inspiration for all of us today. We have proclaimed our faith in education as a means of equalizing the conditions of men. But there is grave danger that our present policy will make it an instrument for creating the very inequalities it was designed to prevent. If the ladder of educational opportunity rises high at the doors of some youth and scarcely rises at all at the doors of others, while at the same time formal education is made a prerequisite to occupational and social advance, then education may become the means not of eliminating race and class distinctions, but of deepening and solidifying them. Evolve 502 is about making the systemic changes necessary to right the wrongs of our past and to the rising the ladder of the educational opportunity for all students in our city. And as Mary Gwen shared, we need the support of our entire community to continue the promise we are making today for future classes of students. The time is now to make this critical investment in our human infrastructure through education, a critical investment for our community to truly grow, thrive, and heal. Thanks again to the members of our board, our lead donors, other donors that have really supported the development of this organization, many of our foundations in this community, the city and others, and all of you that really care about youth and are willing to step up and make a difference in their lives. So thank you for being here. We have media here that may have questions, and so we ask our speakers, and I know Dr. Beth Boehm and Matt will join us with questions. We also have a student here that if you'd like to visit with to kind of understand what this experience and what this opportunity means, we'd be happy to share with you. So again, thank you all so much for being here.